What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Bit late. Apologies for that. I had to move the time. Obviously, I was on the terrace earlier. So, as the title says, Greenwood secures Manchester United top four. Question mark. It's a question mark. Don't quote me on this. And when we fall out, you'll be like, Nick said we qualify for top four. No, I deal with maths. Everything mathematical as far as I'm concerned. We're not there yet. We are not there yet, but we are very, very close to being there. Big up Conrad Kasozi in the chat. Good weekend. Yes, it's been a good weekend. It's been a good weekend for Manchester United. Back from the international break. It's a long weekend. Friday bank holiday for the Good Friday. Monday bank holiday. 4 days off from, regular days, regular 9 to 5, all that kind of stuff. Sit back, relax, enjoy some football, and we've had a good weekend for Manchester United. Chelsea battered and bruised by West Bromwich Albion. Arsenal battered again. Banter Club FC back again, in the words of truth, sitting pretty in 10th or ugly, depending on who you support. Spurs dropping points to Newcastle. I mean, for Manchester United, it's a great result. I kind of wanted Spurs to win because the Jose out crew are hilarious when they don't get what they want. That's a good result for Tottenham. We'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that. And Leicester lost to Man City. That was a bit bittersweet. I don't want Man City winning, but for the greater good, again, we're not going to win the title anyway. We just sort out what's good for us. So, yeah, Man United, 11 points clear inside top four. 11 points clear of fifth. 8 games to go. What's the 8? 24 points. That's 3, 9, 4 losses. 4 losses or 6 draws, basically, between now and the end of the season. We have to get more than everyone else. So if you imagine, if we lose 4 games out of our last 8, the team in 5th, who at the moment is Spurs, have to win all 8 for us to be knocked out of the top 4. That's basically what has to happen. Top 4 is done. It's pretty much done. That's how close we are to securing Champions League football. Good result today, man. The first half was terrible. Terrible game of football. And I understand the whole international break and a bit lethargic, etc. But we actually started good. That's why I don't buy into it. We started the first 10 minutes good. We conceded a goal, and it went to absolute shit. It was terrible. It was slow. It was lethargic. There was no movement. There was no pressing. It was poor. I can't put it all down to international break. I really can't. We lack ideas, and at that point, you're looking at it like, bloody hell, like. You start looking at the coaching at that point because you're like, these players have got no idea. There's no ideas of how to break down this team. And that was the problem in that first half. People were getting on the ball and there was no movement in front. Then we were trying to make the final pass and everything was off. And it was like, I was always confident as long as we didn't concede a second, we could get something from the game. But in that first half, it wasn't looking good. And I mean, thankfully, the first half was that bad that it could only get better, I guess. But yeah, it was poor. Brighton, we knew Brighton would come and play good football. Don't get me wrong, that was always going to be the case. But I expected us to be a lot better in that first half. Defensively, we didn't have a big issue. Actually, other than Aaron Wan-Bissaka early on, there's a couple. Well, the first goal, obviously, the Brighton goal, he lost Welbeck, and there was another opportunity where there was like a diagonal which he gets caught out far too often, and he kind of was out of position. He got a little flick on the ball, but he still went over to the left wing. I can't remember who was out there, and then they failed to score from that chance. But there was a few defensive little errors from Wan-Bissaka for me in that first half. But second half, we were the better side. We pressed, we ran, we moved. Like when someone got on the ball, there was movement in front of them. Bruno came alive in the second half. Cavani wasn't great all game, to be honest, as long as he was on the pitch. Rashford then got the goal. I think really it was when Bruno turned up in the second half, everyone got better. As Shane says, Pogba, he thought Pogba was poor. Pogba didn't have a good game. It was his pass that led to the goal that we conceded. It was short for Fred. I think Fred was decent, to be fair, by his own standards as well. I think Fred was decent. But yeah, I think second half could only get better, and we did get better. First, Bruno breaking. Well, yeah, the ball went through. I think Cavani challenged for the ball, but it broke to Bruno anyway. Ran through, and he actually got cleaned out on the edge of the area. I mean, if Rashford didn't score, and maybe if it didn't go through to Rashford, it definitely would have been a foul, and possibly a yellow card because he got absolutely clattered. Probably should have been a yellow card anyway. But Rashford, brilliant, opened his body up, curled into the bottom corner, 1-1, and you're thinking, all right, cool, we're in a good position to go and win this game. But there was still some shaky moments. There was still some shaky moments where Brighton was breaking. I think there was, I'm trying to think, there was one opportunity where, I don't know if it was the same one where Maguire could have given away a penalty, where they broke. Yeah, it might have been that one actually, where they broke and the ball was played across to Welbeck. Was it a penalty? No, not for me. Now, for me, I think in this day and age, you question, maybe that's a penalty because X, Y, Z was given. But when you're being honest about it, if a penalty was given for that, football's gone. The game is completely gone. It's two honest players going to challenge for the ball. Maguire kind of uses his arm and leans on Welbeck to put a bit of pressure on him. Like, are you supposed to not put pressure on the attacker? And Welbeck misses the ball. I think Maguire did what he had to do to put Welbeck off without making an illegal challenge. That's the way I saw it personally. Call me biased or whatever. For me, it wasn't a penalty. I think referee didn't give it. VAR looked at it, said it wasn't. Even Steve McManaman, the Liverpool fan who was a commentator, said it wasn't. I'm pretty confident it wasn't. But yeah, Cavani came off anyway. Brought on Van der Beek. And you see, we had Van der Beek in the team. And when we scored a goal, when Greenwood latched onto Pogba's missed kick, Van der Beek was right behind him. Van der Beek's in the position where he's the most effective. Van der Beek, I always say this, when Van der Beek plays at number 10 for us, he effectively plays that role as a second striker. So the creativity we're looking for, we're not going to get from him because he's not that kind of player. He's not going to be springing passes and putting people through balls. He's actually looking to get on the end of things. To combine with the number 9, but from a goal-scoring position, the same way Dele Alli does or did with Harry Kane. They had Eriksen behind. So when you play a Van der Beek there, you have to have someone else who's willing to play the ball into him. Now, I'm not sure the exact shape he picked up because he came on for Cavani and Greenwood went through the middle. Dan James was already on the left. So I'm not sure if he was maybe on the right, but where he picked up the position was in the area. He picked out the position in their area to get onto the final ball. I'm not sure what formation we actually played at that point. But at that point, you had two players. You had Pogba and you had Bruno on the pitch. And you had Greenwood and Van der Beek effectively as the goal scorers, the people who should be on the end of things. And they're both in the position to do that. With the news that Martial is possibly, and I said this in the preview, the news that Martial's out for the rest of the season. No, possibly out for the rest of the season. You know, it's a serious injury. I think we have to utilize Greenwood and Cavani very cleverly. We can't be playing them together at this often because if one gets injured, then we're left with one for the rest of the season. So I think we have to rotate them in the number 9 position as a striker. You have Rashford on the left. Hopefully the injury that he picked up today is not serious. And you play Ahmad or Dan James on the right. It's as simple as that. Rashford on the left, Dan James or Ahmad on the right, Greenwood or Cavani number 9. That's the way we need to play from now on in because we still want to win as many games and get as many points in the Premier League as possible. Winning a good second finish is better than us falling away and finishing 3rd or 4th and saying, we're still qualified top 4. No, I need to see progression. But we also want to put more eggs into the Europa League basket now that we've created a gap between us and 5th place. So I think we need to utilize both those strikers very well in the number 9 position. And what we saw today from Greenwood is his development. And as Solskjaer said it, also the fact that maybe he's learning off Cavani. Apparently, there's been talk about Greenwood going out on loan. I'm like, no. You have a Cavani in the team, in the squad. Greenwood can learn more from him at Manchester United than he would going on loan and playing first team football at what level with what players. So for me, yeah, Greenwood, I would like to see him play more up front. And he got a poacher's goal. He's there, ready. Because first, and it was good from Bruno. Greenwood was kind of standing in the box, like calling for the ball. He wanted Bruno to just pass it to him. And I guess he was taking it, try and turn and shoot. Bruno goes for the ball over the top onto the other side. Pogba miss-kicks it. And Greenwood's alive. Both him and Donny were both alive. Boom, to get the header and score. So that's the kind of striker's instinct we need to see what we're calling out for. We're crying out for someone to be moving the box. And to be fair, there was times today where even Cavani lacked it. I think in the second half where Wan-Bissaka crossed from the right and it went straight to the 6-yard box, to be fair. It beat the first man. I think it even beat the first centre-back. Went to the 6-yard box, but there's 3 players in the box. One at the near post. There's one to the near post, but slightly deeper, and one at the far post. And none of them moved. Nobody moved to attack the ball. But what I saw from that goal was the movement that we need from a striker. So hopefully the more that he can play in that position between now and the end of the season, we can see him develop. And then maybe, Haaland is going to be a tough buy for anyone. Only one team can get him. Maybe that option is not going to be available to go and get a world-class striker. And we're going to have to mold Greenwood, but get it by getting better creativity out wide and allowing him to play in that position. Let me go through some of your comments. Conrad says, Neeks, I felt happy seeing Greenwood scoring. Yeah, I was very happy. Both Rashford and Greenwood. And Welbeck. Listen, you had 3 United Academy players on the score sheet today and 1 Academy player with the assist in Paul Pogba. So it was a good day for Man United and their Academy. Erhan says, good result for Tottenham. If you had lost this, Ollie would have demanded a response next week. Yes, I get that. What would have been better for you is to beat bloody Newcastle yourself. But yeah, I think we're going to be putting all our eggs into the Granada first leg, and we're going to go all out to get a lead and a commanding lead. That alone may play into your hands next week. We then may rotate, especially if say we only win, let's say 2-0 or 2-1 or something like that, Granada, or even a 1-1, or worse, we lose the first leg. He may rest up even more against Spurs and then go all out for the second leg. So the fact that you're not in Europe, not that you planned it this way, but you got beat by Zagreb, this could play into your hands. Neeks versus let me finish on the Football Terriers because we are playing Spurs. The funny thing is, if Man United win, Alex will be happy. If Spurs lose, so Spurs win, Alex will be upset. So me and him are going to be on the same side. We're both going to be rooting for Man United to win. Shane says the result was more important than the performance. However, we didn't play well. We move on. The result was definitely more important than the performance. First half was terrible, but I think the second half was better. And if we can start more games and play more 90 minutes like we did in the last 45, then we will be in a better place overall. Mohamed Ammar says Brighton should have won. Really disagree. Completely disagree. They were better in the first half. But they created they had a lot of chances. No, they created a lot of corners, had a lot of corners, but Henderson wasn't making save after save. He was having to catch a lot, but he wasn't making save after save. So I completely disagree that they should have won. Says sold on Henderson. Oh, sorry, sold on Henderson yet? No, he still has to prove it. Like I believe he can, but I'm not sold on him because even today he had a cross. I mean, good save from the first one, and it was unlucky that it still came out straight to Welbeck to head in. So no fault in him there. But there was another cross where he caught it and then dropped it on Maguire's head, and luckily it was either Maguire or Lindelof were able to clear it. So he's not perfect, but I understand he's young. I'm not going to lambast him. He's made errors. He made an error against AC Milan, should have saved it. Made an error against Sheffield United, for example. Like, there's been errors, but I'm willing to give him a chance like Solskjaer has. Van der Beek and Havertz both get mistaken for 10s. They're actually number 11s. They operate as second strikers. That's not a number 11. What? A number, I mean, they don't even call it a number 11, but 11 in my days was the left winger. 7 is the right winger. 8 and 6 are the midfielders. 10 is in the 10. The 9 is up front. 2 and 3 are the fullbacks. But yeah, for me, they're second strikers. They're false 9s or second strikers, 9.5s. I don't know about number 11s. But I think they're best operating as second strikers. Shane says, however, after he goes that they should start in the pivot. It's his best position in this team. Yes and no. Bruno is the number 10. You're never going to dislodge him. So how do you get him in the team? Then he probably needs to start in the pivot. But if Bruno's not there, he can play in the 10 with only with Pogba behind. Anyone else, he can't play there because he needs service from that number 10 because he plays so far forward. The other option is to play a 4-3-3 with a single pivot, and you have 2 8s, and again, Van der Beek can do that. But we don't have a defensive midfielder capable. Apparently, Machiavelli says, Martial doesn't need surgery and is hopeful of coming back this season. Yeah, I did see that tweet. And I hope he does. I hope he does come back at this some point this season. And hopefully we're in a position where you might say we need him in the sense that we're in a semi-final or a final. Where we're like, good to have Martial back. As opposed to out of the cup, few last games of the season, doesn't mean anything. But I would like to see him, 1, play for us before the season's out, and 2, play in the Euros. I think it'll be very, very unlucky for him. First to miss out on the World Cup in 2018. Deservedly so, but I would say not fully through fault of his own. He fell out with Mourinho, lost his place when he was in a good run of form, etc. But so missing out on the World Cup and then to miss out on the Euros in this France side, that has a very good chance of winning it. That would be very, very unlucky for him. Hala Madrid says, was expecting Pogba and Bruno to boss it. Yeah, Pogba for me was poor throughout. He got slightly better in the second half, but nothing major. Bruno was better in the second half. Loans aren't meant to be education, in my opinion. They're made to build rhythm, playing week in, week out. Learning a trade happen mostly at under 21 level. Yes, and in Greenwood's case, he's played a lot of games. Like, look at Foden. I think Foden for me is a great example because both of them for me are great talents. Great talents. How do you get the best out of them? Do you loan them out or do you allow them to develop with the coaches that you trust in? Whether we think they're good enough or not is another matter, but coaches that you as the manager trust in the setup that you believe in, and playing and training with quality players. So for me, he's playing enough and he's learning enough here. Now it's just about going out on the pitch and doing it. Shane says he doesn't think Greenwood is strong enough to play as a 9. Right now, probably not. He needs to fill out a bit more, but definitely for me, he can become that player. You get much more at Greenwood at right. Doesn't give much physically. As long as Cavani's fit, he should play the 9. Yeah, but we know Cavani's not going to play back-to-back game. Like, he's not going to play Thursday and Sunday against Granada and Spurs. Impossible for him to do that. So at some point, he's going to have to play in the 9. Greenwood's going to have to play there. I was speaking on the stream earlier, the preview with Danny, and so I think someone in the comment spoke about RVP, or maybe Danny was on who brought it up. We were speaking about RVP, and people actually compare them in terms of their styles. The way they strike the ball and their body movement, very, very similar. RVP played out wide for a lot of his time at Arsenal until he became the main number 9, straight through the middle, no questions asked, and became the striker that he was. So yeah, definitely he can develop out there, but I think number 9 is definitely the final position for him. Neeks, we need Portugal to take City's job from Pep to level things out. Oh God, Perlo, what's happening over there? They drew 2-2 over there, innit? Bloody hell. Left wingers that exist no more, they are all forwards. That's why I say 11. Yeah, I hope he doesn't win. I got nothing against Poch, but the way people ride him is embarrassing. I hope he doesn't win. Nah, listen, I ain't trying to step on KJ's toes. I'm gonna be off here in about 2 minutes, and then you can head over to the football terrace to check out the midnight vibes. But yeah, it's a bit late today because I was on the football terrace and just having a chat as well. Yeah, but I mean, let me bring up. Actually, I'm going to bring up a table because bear with me 1 second. Because it's the Premier League table last season compared to this season after 38 games. Actually, let me just bring the image. I was going to bring my tweet up, but give me 1 second because it shows the progression that we've made as a club. Because people will say stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, we're in a fourth position. If it wasn't for this team, if it wasn't for that team, I'm like, cool. If it wasn't for this team and that team, we might not be second. But regardless of this team and that team, we have progressed. Where is my? Can't find it. We have progressed as a team. That cannot be denied. As much as you want to deny it, it can't be denied. But it's funny when you look at it and you look at everybody else, you're like, damn, Man United, and of course, Man United, we've got high standards. We know that. But you look at it like the way that people talk, it's like Man United are the worst team in the world and Solskjaer is the worst manager. And you think, if he's that bad, what about everyone else? Look at this league table. So Liverpool are on 83 points. This is last year. Man City 63, Leicester 54, Chelsea 51, Man United 46. Arsenal 40. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? Sorry, I'm going to bring up my tweet instead because what that's going to do is allow us to compare like for like. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to bring up my tweet instead. Bear with me. Forgive me. Why is this doing this? You know when technology just fails you? All right, let's see this again. There we go. That's better. That is better. Says something never change. Arsenal in 10th, and you are completely right. So this tweet here it doesn't show on the right side, it doesn't show the whole down to 10th, but I'll bring that up in a second. Shut it. So you got Liverpool 83 points this season on 49. So they have dropped off, wow, by 34 points from last year. Man City second on 63. This season, 74. So they're up by 11. People say Man United are in a fourth position because Liverpool fell off. But that means last season, Man City were in a fourth position because we're literally pretty much on the same amount of points as Man City last year. The reality is 63 points, 60 points or whatever, is there or thereabouts for second position. That's the way it is, clearly. Leicester in third here on 54. And this season they're on 56, so they've gone up by 2 points. Chelsea, both times on fourth place, 51 points each. Goal difference is slightly better this season. So they've kind of stagnated. Without a shadow of a doubt, they've stagnated. Manchester United, last season on 46. This season on 60. Man City is better by 11 points than last season. We are better by 14 points. We have kind of done as much as we can. Man City has pretty much matched us. Actually, they haven't even matched us, really, because they played one more game. So you take away yesterday's win, they're on 71. So they are 8 points better from last year at the same point last year after 30 games. 8 points better. We are 14 points better. We had a big gap to make up. We finished 15 points behind Man City last year, 33 behind Liverpool. It was never going to be a one-season job where we come in and win the title. No matter who the manager is, people try and convince you that Poch could have done it. Poch joined PSG, and they were 1 point off first place. Sorry, 1 second, guys. You called me. Sorry, yeah. We were 1 point off first place. So they're 1 point off first place, and now they are 3 points off first place. It's not as simple as get a better manager, top of the league. We're up by 14 points. Regardless of what everyone else has done, we're up by 14 points. Then you look at Spurs. Spurs were 8th last year at 42. At this point, Spurs are 7 points better on 49. Chance of top 4. Arsenal, 10th with 40 points. I'll bring out the other table. And this season, they are 10th with... Oh, you can't even see that. Bloody hell. That's better. 10th with 42 points. Arsenal gone up by 2 points, but they're in the same position. But people want to tell me that Arteta is better than Solskjaer. Have Arsenal really improved? Have Arsenal really improved? And if so, in what way have they improved? Yeah, I'm meant to believe that Solskjaer ain't doing a good job at Man United. Of course, we need to be better. We want it to be better. We need to get to the next stage. To finish third last year with 66. We are 6 points off how much points we finished last year in total. If we better that by, say, 10 points and finish on 76, then next year we go one better. If we're not able to win a trophy this year, which I hope we are, next year we have to say, all right, cool. We finish in the top 4. Let's go win a trophy at the same time. If not, if we can win the league, of course, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You improve your league position and you win a trophy. But you have to be realistic. Liverpool are going to be better next year. Man City are going to be very good next year. So we have to be realistic. But there are cups out there, like the FA Cup and the League Cup, that we can win. Let me give you some of you lot's comments before I sign off from here. Nomad says, teams would love to trade places with us right now. Of course they would. And those same fans are the one that they're hashtagging, Ollie in, ha, ha. Well, my manager got us into second. What's your manager doing? Liverpool have the hardest running. I mean, all the injuries Liverpool had. You mean for the end of the season, or you just mean this season? Yeah, they had a few injuries. Van Dijk, a little one injury here or there. Meh. That's no reason to be 31 points lower than you were last year. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Jabada says, sure, David De Gea ain't been the David De Gea of old, but he's surely the better option. Hendo commands the defense well, but he surely cannot be made as official number 1. Atletico Madrid losing La Liga at the moment. Swap with Oblak. I will take that in a heartbeat. If you said David De Gea, Oblak, straight swap, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'll pay that half David De Gea's wages as well. I don't care. Oblak, best keeper in the world. Mass is overrated. All of this will go out the window when Liverpool win the league again next season. Cool, but we have to do what we have to do. We improve by 10, 15 points this year. Next season, we improve by another 10, 15 points. And if we go from 66 to 76 to 86, that's title winning form. It might not win the title, You might lose out by a couple points, but you're in and around the race. That's where we need to be every season. 86 points in and around the race for the title. Oh yeah, I forgot. Arteta broke Klopp. That's why. That's why. Conte is the third best manager in the world. I rate him above Zidane. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not. He's terrible in Europe, so he's not the third best manager in the world. He's just not. I don't want him to. I don't know what I want him to say. I don't know what to do. He's failing in Europe time and time again. He's managing for years. He's failing in Europe in both Champions League and Europa League. I'm not having it. He should have won Serie A last year. He's had 2 bites of the cherry. He's waiting for Juve to be at the lowest of their lowest. Let's be honest, because it's not just like, Juve are destroying European football and Conte's done a madness in Serie A. They got knocked out to Lyon last year and Porto this year. They're at the lowest of their lowest. They've got a rookie as their manager. And then Conte said, all right, let me go win the league now, after spending so much money and buying all the players that he needed. He's a good manager. Third best in the world. No way. No way. Have your boy Saeed on the show so you can tell him facts. Them man don't want to hear that facts, man. I would have him. But they don't want to hear the facts. Before we wrap up here, does Oli build a dynasty if he wins the league next season? If he wins the league next season, that isn't a dynasty. But if he wins the next season, I think he can create a dynasty. Because that would just elevate him. It will elevate the club. It will elevate the players. These players need a trophy. And if you win the league, it won't be a flash in the pan. It won't be a Leicester come from nowhere and win the league. And even then, Leicester though they haven't won the league again or look like it, they have progressed. They have got better as a club for winning that league. Of course, all the other stuff, they're scouting, etc. But they go and get a quality manager. They go and get quality players. Players even stay. The likes of Vardy, the likes of Mahrez, they stayed for a couple of years after Kante went, of course, straight away. But those players stayed, and Leicester were able to develop a bit more. They go out and get a Tielemans and indeed, like winning the league could do massive wonders for Solskjaer and Manchester United, but it will be progression. Do you think Mourinho will win the Carabao Cup? I actually do, and I bloody well hope so. Rashford goal, class, brilliant goal. Open his body up, bottom corner, good pass from Bruno as well. And Mason Greenwood, yeah, I'm so happy when he scored, man. Red Devil Studio, make sure you go check out the channel as well for his channel. Good work he's doing over there. He says top 4 secured. Meanwhile, over at Stamford Bridge. I'm not going to say too much, but the football dugout tomorrow. I'm not going to say too much. But guys, listen, thanks for joining me. Smash the like button. Follow us. Follow me on all the social media. Neeks Sports, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, Neeks Sports. Follow my personal page right there. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll see you lot soon.